In the past weeks, I was testing the Canon R6 Mark II and also used it on a couple of jobs with me. And the question came into my mind, is it really a good investment for you as a filmmaker? We will gonna answer that right now, coming up. Hi guys, my name is Paul and this channel is all about filmmaking gear reviews but also DaVinci Resolve tutorials. So if you're interested in that, consider subscribe and this will automatically support this channel, so thank you for this. In my last video I compared the R6 Mark II against the predecessor, the Canon R6 Mark I. There I mainly focused on tech specs and features and compared that to that. This video is more like a review after working with the camera really on set, on client shoots, on projects, and now it's finally my decision to give you my honest opinion on the camera. So I was using the R6 Mark II mainly as my Steadicam or glide cam camera on a shoot when I was in Slovenia. For a week I used it aside my red Komodo and shot a commercial there. And basically the camera did great. I was really surprised by the nice colors, the nice image, but that's something that I already expected because I used the R6 before. And what I really enjoyed is also that we now can use the custom buttons like C1 to C3 on the dial. We can set them now to video features, which is really great. Personally, I still don't like the micro HDMI port, that really sucks. And also when you hook on an external monitor, the internal monitor goes black. So I also don't like that either. But what I really like is the more battery juice, so that was really great when working on the glide cam. The camera had plenty of battery life, which I personally really liked, and I hope the other things still can be fixed in firmware somewhere. During this shoot I also used the camera to shoot B-roll 4K 60 for a couple hours, and the camera didn't overheat on me. So as I explained in my last video, I think the problem only occurs if you record continuously. So basically that means that the problem is non-existent, especially in some cases, but for me I never had an issue with that. What I would have wished is more dynamic range and also maybe a little bit more low light performance. As I've said in my last video, the image quality is pretty much the same as with the R6. Colors look great, everything else, but it's not really a step up what I would have expected. For example, with the current Sony cameras, they have a little bit more dynamic range and they also have better low light performance. And for this, that mainly is the issue where we still have C-Log 3 instead of C-Log 2, which would offer us more dynamic range. That's what I was wishing for, that we have a little bit more dynamic range. For example, the R5C has that extra step up that I'm looking for, and the R6 Mark II unfortunately doesn't. Also, the low light performance is pretty much the same. I think ISO 6400 is a good value, but nonetheless I would have wished for a step up in this case. My biggest gripe, my biggest issue with the R6 and also with the R6 Mark II is the compressed codec. The codecs are pretty much the same. It's IPB compression, it's H.265, and it's not a post-production friendly workflow. I know that, and I had to create proxies for that. And on the one hand, you get very small file sizes, which enables you to record longer on your card. But on the other hand, you have more likely compression artifacts, which I had in these circumstances. If you look here close to address and like in the shadow areas, you get like this mushy image. And that's something that I don't get with my RED. And that's primarily because of the codec that the camera shoots on. Either in ProRes or Red RAW, doesn't matter. But the fact is it's less compressed and it's more post-production optimized. And that's not the case here. It's just a capture codec, so to say. And yeah, that's something what I would have wished, but I also understand it's primarily a stills camera. But nonetheless, that was what I've really wished for. But then I was really excited because the R6 Mark II enables you to record RAW externally and I hook it up with my Blackmagic Video Assist, and unfortunately it doesn't support ProRes. It only supports ProRes RAW, not Blackmagic RAW. I think Blackmagic RAW is still a better codec, but that's another topic here. So you can only use it with an Atomos recorder, which I'm also not a big fan of Atomos. So I couldn't really test that, but still, I think also would be great if you enable the camera to record externally, that also should support Blackmagic RAW, not only ProRes RAW, because a lot of people out there are DaVinci Resolve users for very specific reasons, so that would be great to also support that. So unfortunately couldn't test that. In summary, I can say, will I upgrade from my R6 Mark I? And for what I use it is as a B cam or as a C cam or as a BTS cam, I won't really upgrade, because the extra features that I have are just better handling and not the overheating issue and things like that. But I would have wished for more dynamic range, and that's basically still the same, and also the codecs are the same. So therefore there's actually no reason for me to upgrade. I rather invest in a second cinema camera body, which will be a much better fit for me. And also in the Canon lineup, for me personally, the best camera is still the C70, followed by the R5C, and then the R6 Mark II, and then the R5. It has more good features over the R5 because I personally don't need 8K, and the 4K non-HQ on the R5 is line skipped, and also dynamic range is very similar, but the R5C is the step up that what I was looking for. I also won't buy the R5C for other reasons, which I also mentioned in another video. But personally, for me as a filmmaker, I would really encourage you to invest in a cinema body. As a hybrid camera, I think the camera does really great because of the switch and the added functionalities that it has. But still, it's image quality wise not an upgrade to the R6, which isn't really a bad thing because the R6 was already a great camera, but I would have wished for a little bit more. So if you have any further questions, just drop them down in the comments below, and if you like this video, share, subscribe, and gonna see you in my next one. Cheers!